Hello, this is David Kepsel. I just started our live stream. Um, as promised, today I intend to share with you some of the developments we've been making and some of the progress we've been making as a company. I'm going to wait just a second to make sure that everybody's receiving my audio and that the levels are good. Can one of my colleagues please message me and let me know um, on our usual channels that the audio is coming through loud and clear. Testing 1, 2. David Kepsel, CEO and co-founder of EncrypGen. And this is a live update for October 17th, 2018. Okay, I'm assuming all of our levels are good. I'm getting no feedback, but last time we had a weird feedback issue, so I just want to make sure we're not getting that this time. Pending word otherwise, I will proceed with today's update. So we've had a lot going on, especially in our development. We've been furiously coding to try to bring everything together. As I've mentioned before, we've had two tracks of development. One is on the blockchain, the other is on the my gene chain side, where we gather the data and we ask people to self-report data. We index that and we make it available. So what we're looking at now is our development environment. I want to show you a little bit about what's coming down the pike this week. We've just integrated, for the first time, you can see, the wallet into our next release, and that is, as I said, coming this week. We're doing a little bit of final testing. We want to make sure everything is safe and sound. But here's what it looks like. So it's a little bit different than what you'd note on your current My Gene Chain environment. We have a couple of things that I'm happy to show you that are exciting. So here you see I've uploaded my own 23andMe data. It's become indexed. I can delete it or I can download it here. The upload page now allows only one file to be uploaded, and that's because you're going to be marketing your best file at any time. Here's where things start to get really interesting. So in the profile page, we've added quite a number of fields. We have 4 major dimensions: personal information, physical characteristics, medical, and behavioral. So personal we can think of as demographic information, for the most part. Physical characteristics, so height, weight, gender, eye color, hair color, ethnicity, and then a medical profile. So this is where we're starting to really add value for folks. The reason that people are going to want to buy genomic data is because it's going to provide them with insight into the relations between genetic data and their health. And it's also going to be able to provide you with the ability to be able to take care of your health as well. The importance of adding these dimensions of medical and behavioral data really can't be overstressed. This is the sort of thing that brings significantly more value to the genomic data. As I've discussed before, raw genomic data is not very valuable. But once you start to draw relationships between physical, medical, demographic, and behavioral characteristics and the genome, then you start to get some really important insights for researchers that are going to be useful in pharmaceutical research and university research as well, and for large populational studies. So this is where we're starting to really improve the value of the data we're starting to gather. Again, under settings and privacy, you have to consent, and you can, at any time, you can delete the whole account and all your data. And this is important for compliance with GDPR in Europe. It's also really part of our philosophy that you are the owner of your data, and you can decide at any time whether or not you want to remove it from the gene chain marketplace. Under search again, we're refining this quite a bit. So it starts with, if you've tried search in the past, you notice there were some things that were initially selected. Now they're all initially deselected. For instance, here, genomic information, that won't be important except for researchers, but you can try it at any time if you want. You can clear your search results. Let's do a simple search of that age range, and then we start to get some interesting things. So the buy button, as I say, is coming soon. That's the final stage of the wallet integration, and that's just around the corner. But we've also allowed people to register interest in a profile even if they have no genomic data. So in these cases, this is all on our development server, and these are profiles and data we've created. If this were on, when this is on the real server, you'll see whether somebody has genomic data uploaded, because it'll say buy coming soon, or if you're interested in buying their data and they haven't uploaded data, then you can register interest. And then when you do register interest, that person gets an email, and it says that somebody's interested in their profile, and they can see what that person is interested in buying it for, because when somebody registers interest, they can set a price. And then they can start to determine whether or not it makes sense for them economically to get tested and upload the data. So that's, I think, a very interesting new feature that is going to help to drive people to create profiles, but also be able to gauge the importance of their potential data and whether or not they should go ahead and get a genomic test. And then here, their interest received would be indicated. There'd be a list of when they received interest and what the price of that interest was. And then, of course, here comes the wallet. So the wallet blockchain is functioning, and this is the multi-chain blockchain. And if you've played with our market demo before, this is the market demo, EncrypGen.info, which is also part of the blockchain. It's running on top of the same blockchain as our actual wallet. So you could, if you wanted to, send DNA back and forth. This market demo is eventually what the UI is going to look like here, but we're concentrating on the functionality right now. So for instance, you could, if you wanted to put 1 BTC worth in, you could buy the multi-chain DNA with that directly, and this is important for, and this is where we have a markup on the price of the DNA. You'll notice that that doesn't buy you a lot of DNA at the current price. That's because we have a markup here to encourage people to go get their DNA on exchanges where it's significantly cheaper for now. For the purposes of getting people quickly integrated on the platform, we're allowing people to use BTC at a markup to buy DNA, and then this is functioning by integrating with our BTC wallet. Of course, with that BTC, we can pay our bills, and then when people withdraw their DNA, we have to send them our DNA. And then, as I've discussed in the past, the tokenomics, we think, will help to normalize the cost and stabilize it closer to where our markup price is. So yeah, this is what you'll be playing with this week when you re-log in, and you'll see there's an update, and you'll be able to update your profiles. We'll ask all of you to go immediately to your profiles once we do this release and all our testing is complete. Update all of this data, as much of it as you want, and that'll make your data more valuable in the long run. Now, let me see if there's any questions. If there are any questions, I'm going to be getting them relayed to me via Telegram, because whenever I open my YouTube while doing these updates, it creates some sort of weird feedback loop. So I have my YouTube closed while I'm streaming. If you have any questions, please post them in the YouTube chat, and they will get relayed to me. And I see that we have no questions yet, which is fine. I will continue to tell you a little bit about what's coming down the pike. So as I said, this update is our next update. It's coming. It's the almost complete, I'd say 98% complete platform. The part that we are waiting for is the buy button, and that is coming down the pike. So this is what it'll look like, and once you've purchased data, for instance, you will have in your purchases area, you'll have buyers will have the ability to view their purchased data sets and then to download them and use them in their own analytic tools. So for instance, we'd see here you have the opportunity to download them in various formats. Okay, so that's where we stand. We're going to be meeting our goal of doing the world's first genomic data transaction on our blockchain by the end of this month. There's really just some trivial stuff to do to get the wallet fully integrated in order to complete those transactions. So we're very proud of our development progress. We're excited to be able to meet that milestone. Yet again, coming in a little bit under the roadmap time frame, which said Q4, and so we'll be a little early in Q4 for that. All right, I want to tell you a little bit about things that are coming up in terms of presentations. I've been invited to this. It's a Wall Street Journal Health Forum. It's going to be in DC, April 30th, 2019. The program will be up here, but this is a pretty neat series. You can see that in the past there have been some pretty significant speakers at these series, and my buddy George Church and a couple others in the fields of health and tech. So in 2019 I'll be doing that in DC in April, the end of April. Another upcoming show, more recent one, in 2 weeks I will be at this in Miami, Florida, at the it's called the Crypto Blockchain 1000 show in Miami. I encourage you, if you're in the area, or even if you're not and you just want a vacation in Miami, and assuming there's no hurricanes on the way, hopefully I'll see some of you there at this show. I'm speaking on the 30th, and you can see there's quite a number of people from the blockchain space that are going to be there. So this is me. I recently spoke at this conference, the Exponential Healthcare Conference in Newport Beach, and I reported about that in our Discord channel. It was a great opportunity to meet with our partners, including Brandon Colby of sequencing.com, and to meet new and important people in the field, including a really interesting gentleman, Dr. Drew Clausen, who's doing some AI stuff with Kaiser Permanente. They have a massive repository of data, and they're trying to bring AI to sorting through that data and making sense of it. So it was nice to compare notes with folks who are interested in some of the things that we're interested in, and doing similar work and with large data sets as well. I've also been invited to present at the Precision Medicine World Conference 2019 in January 20th to 23 in Silicon Valley. I think that's going to be an excellent opportunity again to meet with some folks who are interested in what blockchain can bring to genomics. You can see there's a track here for emerging applications in genomic medicine, data privacy and security platforms, and emerging applications in genomic medicine, data collection use cases. All of these look very exciting, and we're going to be very thrilled and honored to present there. I've seen some questions coming through, so let me try to answer them one at a time. So, will researchers be able to search for data without selecting any options? Well, you have to search by at least one option. So yeah, in this what's rolling out this week, you've got to choose some options. So if you want to get all the data sets, I suppose you could choose all age ranges from 0 to 120. and just get the full list. And so this is on the dev server, as I said, so it's not, this is not a real data set, but once we release this later this week, that'll be available for anybody to see all the data that's been indexed. Now, some data is not yet being indexed. We're working on getting Codigo tests indexed. The data out. If you look at your text file, if you have a Codigo text file, you'll notice that under the RSID column, there's a number of different types of labels, and that's what's complicating things for our indexing system. But I've got a prototype version of an indexer that can deal with that and can clean it up, and we're about to start testing it with real Codigo data very soon. So it's all in there, it just needs to get indexed, and we're working as fast as we can to get that done. Another question. Any update on the total number of uploads? Yeah, we don't really have that right now. We have a lot of uploads, but again, if they're not all getting indexed, we need to figure out what the data format is. We're really going to concentrate on making sure that we're getting it all indexed and useful first. Any update on data deals or interest from VC? What I can tell you is that we have received a significantly increased interest in potential investors of late, as it's become clear that we're really the only player now in the tokenization of the genomic data, and that we're also the most advanced in terms of having a product. Regarding data deals, I had an interesting conversation this week with a major laboratory that has many hundreds of thousands of data sets, and I'm getting more interest from laboratories like that. They're interested in being able to provide as a service to their clients, customers who are getting various medical tests, the ability to use us as a mechanism for storing and sharing and monetizing their data. So yeah, that's exciting that we're getting those kinds of cold calls really now from laboratories and other data storers and providers. Let's see. What stops people from lying about their info to generate more sales? That's a good question. That's a question we've been trying to figure out for a long time, and I'm sure one way that we can do that is to be able to verify some of the self-reported data against the data in their data files. So for anything we know that can be verified by markers in the data itself, helps us to be able to verify that their self-reported data is true. But this is really actually the same problem that 23andMe faces. If you go now to 23andMe and fill out your health profile, you can fill in any bogus information you want and see if maybe that makes the data more valuable, but in that case to 23andMe. It does great service to try to guess what is going to be more valuable, because you really don't know, and researchers don't know what's going to be valuable to them in the future. And the correlations between your physical and behavioral characteristics, right, as compared to your genomic data, again, are not well understood or known yet. We're really at an early phase of trying to be able to make this value, bring value to the data. So yeah, we're trying to figure out a way that we can, for instance, do some connection with existing medical blockchains, so that other medical records could verify your self-reporting. But that's going to be a later phase of development. Let's see. Will you be able to buy in mass, or will buys need to be completed on an individual basis? So right now, if you look at the way it works, when you go to the marketplace and you buy, you'd have to click through all of these. It will be trivial as long as you've narrowed your search and you get a certain amount, for us to include a buy all feature where it simply buys all of the ones that you've found in your search, regardless of the price. Good questions. Excellent questions. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us again. I think we've got a lot going on this month. You should check in, I will of course announce when we launch the next release. We had been planning to separate the wallet release from the expanded profile release, but since we were so close on the wallet, we decided to roll them into one release, and that's why we've been a little later than we expected. But I think we're hitting all our markers the way we want, and again, we're still way ahead in this race, and we're excited by what we've been able to develop so far. We thank you all for your following us and for all of your encouragement. We get a great deal of personal interest from people who are, really committed to this idea and interested in trying to make it work, and I'm grateful for all of that. So let me just check and see if there's any further questions, and if not, then I will conclude this. So is shapeshift an option? Well, we've actually built something like this. One of the really interesting things about the blockchain that Notice has been able to make is that we can accommodate, frankly, any asset in it. So it actually ends up being a sort of a shapeshift, where you can use BTC and convert it into DNA for purchasing on the system. There are some regulatory issues. We'll have to work that out over time as we as we release that possibility, because then you start to become a FinCEN regulated product. So we're going to have to work out that before that functionality becomes broadly available. But yeah, actually, we end up becoming a sort of shapeshift. Okay. Marketing issues. Okay, before I wrap up, let me tell you a bit about what's going on marketing-wise. We continue to test our direct to data buyer email marketing campaign, and we're getting metrics on that. As I've said many times, we have an extensive CRM full of what we've identified as being likely data buyers, and we've created some videos to guide them about how to get DNA, for instance, and to start to familiarize them with the marketplace we've created. So once we have a completely functional marketplace for transacting real business, we will continue to update them through the marketing to bring them on board. And as far as going to the consumer market, our strategy is to go to those who've already done genomic testing, because that's a low-hanging fruit. And we are working on a number of social media and other campaigns. We've had our TV commercial on Fox Business News. We have the Success Files 5-minute docs, which are now being played throughout the United States and a number of public broadcasting markets, all introducing people to the concept and hoping that they will start to use us and to upload their data and fill out profiles and start to get some interest in having their data bought. Okay, so that's where we stand on marketing and partnerships. Our partnerships are advancing. We have, as I've said before, we have been meeting with and refining the nature of our partnerships, and I will give you more information as they firm up. But as I said, recently we've been seeing a great deal more interest in those partnerships. So I'm fully confident we're going to have a number of different streams of data moving customers onto our platform through the partners, and ensuring that the gene chain becomes the go-to marketplace for data, genomic data buying in a free market. Any further questions? Let's see. Can people convert DNA back to BTC on the system? So yeah, under this wallet, you'll be able to do that, right? So you can cash it out. Okay. Any further questions? Great. In fact, we'll have the ability to turn it into Ethereum as well, and we'll have some fiat gateways coming as well. We've adopted a credit card processing system for being able to use U.S. dollars and euros and other fiat currencies to buy into the system and start to trade in the data. All right. Thank you so much again for joining us. I'm always happy to answer more questions offline. If I see them in the YouTube chat, I will definitely log in later and answer them as I'm able. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you soon.